Hey. Welcome to episode 92 to 992 of Awkwardly Awesome Podcast. I love this part of my week so much because I get to have amazing conversations with amazing guests for an hour and really talk about what inspires people and what challenges people and whoops nope and Tim asks, are we live? Yes, we are live, Tim. Anyway, I'm your host, Jason Freeman. I'm a public speaker with a speech impediment and a perseverance coach, and I'm inspired to to do what I do because for a long time I felt like I didn't have a voice, like I didn't have a way to create my dreams and as I realized over the years how to live in a totally different way, I naturally want to share what I've learned with other people from junior high and high school kids to adults and all kinds of groups. Not that I have the exact that prescription for everyone's success. I don't at all. You have your own prescription for your own success. You're discovering your own path. But if we have more and more conversations, we learn from each other and the energy and ideas circulate and we have more ability to move forward. And this is why I'm so excited to talk to my guest today, and we'll be back in a minute. It would help with timing if I was all queued up for the. So take two. We will be back in a minute.
Today's guest, Andrea Sanchez.
Hey, welcome back. Let me tell you a little bit about Andrea Sanchez. Andrea Sanchez has an intense passion for daring people to be themselves. What a great thing to be passionate about. A top writer on inspiration and leadership on Medium, Andrea also created Spark Story. Spark Story is a personal branding business whose foundational belief is check this out. Everyone has a unique value to offer and a story to tell. Andrea's passion projects include hashtag Dare to Be Chat on Twitter and a monthly worthy rally for hope and kindness. Andrea is a very proud parent of 3 children. Please help me welcome amazing guest for today, Andrea Sanchez.
Hello.
Hello, welcome, Andrea. Thanks for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. Wow, I love your introduction. It made me smile. It's such a upbeat mood. Love it.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, I'm glad you liked it. So anyway, the first question I want to ask, the name Spark story is so nice. What inspired you to create that name?
Spark story.
Yeah.
Actually, it's because I believe behind every spark there's a story, and every story has the potential to spark someone into greatness.
Yeah. Uh, so so but by each of us sharing our stories, we are in a sense igniting each other towards greatness.
Yes, that is great. Yes, I could capture that for a little commercial for me. That's perfect.
Yeah,
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 that's exactly what it
we're
is.
recording on YouTube, so you
Yeah,
definitely can.
yeah, I truly believe you got it, that we can ignite each other toward greatness. And often we just need a little push, a little courage to get those stories out. So I believe wholeheartedly that through community and through each other, holding ourselves accountable, and either through calls or through memos or through just messages, pictures, we can remind each other how awesome we are, that we are gifts and we have stories to share.
Speaking of awesome, our friend Tim is paging awesome Andrea Sanchez.
Tim, I have something for Tim. It's He'll understand. Tim is awesome. Actually, he's my accountability partner to hold my first in-person event. He's holding his first in-person event this fall as well. And these little goats, believe it or not, he gifts these to a whole bunch of people. It's been an inspiration, because anytime I fall into a challenge, like I can't go on, I don't believe in myself, why am I doing this, I look at this goat and just smile and remember that doing this for a reason, doing this to make the world smile, and one person at a time.
Wow, doing it. When we embark on big projects, why is it important to remember why we're all doing them?
Because that is your guiding star.
Mm,
So often in big projects, and I tend to be very, very vulnerable and honest and authentic in the way I come out. You see from the end of things, when people come up with events and conferences and just sessions, you see the output, you see the promotions leading up to it, but you don't see the angst that goes on behind the scenes, and the moments
the
of
angst.
doubt and the moments of what Tim likes to call dread. Yeah, so we're all human. We all are going to have those voices a lot come out, and in moments of, voices of doubt, voices of fear, voices of imposter syndrome. Why should I be doing this? I might as well just not do this. And it's, if you don't have that guiding purpose and the why you are doing it in the first place, your vision can be completely derailed. There is a reason why you want it to get started. So you just need to focus on that reason, and everything else needs to go away.
You need, as Tim eloquently says, to keep. I love it. Go, capital G, capital O.
Keep goading. That's right. Keep goading.
I'm glad we're starting here because you just had this amazing moment that you captured and put on social media, where you were taking a walk from your house to the mailbox.
Yeah.
Was that just like another ordinary walk down the street, or what was that like?
Uh, no, it was by far not an ordinary walk, because I was going to be doing something very dreadful that I was fearing for a while. But yeah, it was. I was just going to mail that. and some voice inside of me said, you need to record this. I'm like, okay, yes ma'am. So I recorded it.
So what dreadful thing did you do? Like, did you have to clean out like a big attic, or something? What dreadful thing were you having to do?
What drove me to do that
No,
recording?
what was the dreadful thing
Oh,
that you were having to do?
actually commit to doing the event. That was the dreadful thing. I've been holding my online rally for the past 2 years, and I've been getting lots of feedback. When's the physical one? When are you going to do an in-person one? And I was just like trying to, put that in the back of my mind. But I always knew deep inside that I wanted to do something in person, and it was just time to let go of all those the negative little voices in my head with doubts of the what ifs, and just do it. So I finally found a venue, and that letter right there secured the deal of my reservation for that venue this fall. It was quite an investment, because it's something that I've actually been saving for and getting some odd jobs to over the weekend to be able to pay for that. But it's something I truly believe in. So it was a huge step for me. It may have been like a everyday walk to the mailbox, but this one was a huge defining moment for me.
So we're going to get back to that, but speaking of sharing personal stories with just such powerful effect, Bob Donnell is he's just amazing at this. I shall really introduce you to. So I'll try and remember to do that. Hi Bob, you're wonderful.
Hi, Bob.
So let me get this straight, Andrea. You have a com, comfortable job where you do go work for the world. So 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 you already have that. So why do why take these dreadful walks to the mailbox? Why put yourself out there in this position? Why go above and beyond in this way?
Yeah, that's a good question. To clarify, I have a full-time job, which I love, it's another whole persona to me that it occupies my weekdays, which is I do communications for an awesome clean energy company for North America, and it's global. So that takes up all of my time. I do this on the evenings, and I do this mostly on the weekends.
So you already have a job with with that fulfills your purpose of
Yeah,
giving to the world.
yeah.
So why go above and beyond that?
I feel we can never do enough. I feel in my heart, I don't know what it is, but I've always had something in me. If we go back to the word spark, this spark that is ready to could come out and ignite some other things and create some more sparks. I don't know what exactly I'm supposed to ignite, but I'm trying to ignite as many things as possible.
I'm
So
trying to ignite as many things as possible.
yeah,
That's another mic drop, Tim.
yeah.
I'm trying
Ignite
to
in a good
ignite
way.
as many
Ignite in a
things
good
as
way, not in a bad way. But yes,
in a good way, in a good way.
yeah, yeah. We can always do more. We can always do more. The world always needs kindness more than ever now. So there's always room for more.
So I ask these questions because so many people, including me at times, has we have these visions do more these visions, but then the the dread the dread comes up, and then instead of taking that walk to the mailbox, we say, "Oh, I don't want that dread." So then we slowly back away and then forget about the vision.
And I've been there so many times. You just seen the actual footage of me walking to the mailbox. There's been footage that I haven't taken of me not going to the mailbox a number of times because of that dread. But what has helped, and I want to say this again, not just because he's on the show, but the dread thing keeps coming up. It so helps having an accountability partner. For the past, I
Yeah.
want to say 6 months, Tim and I have been meeting pretty weekly on calls just to check in on how our events are going. And we call them, we refer them to them as dread calls, because it's checking in on each other on the dread topics that we don't want to check in on, which means we need to make progress. But it's in a fun way. What keeps it going is that not only do you, first of all, remember your vision of why you're doing what you're doing, but also having that just accountability, that it's not, you're just not doing it for you and not doing it just, obviously for your audience and making a difference, but there's someone out there that knows you're supposed to be doing something, and you have these calls coming up, and you better report that you made some progress. Because if you're not making progress, they're not going to be making progress on their event. And I want their event to be successful as well. So it's like holding each other accountable. So that has worked so much. So I think that in itself, also as many possibilities as you have, as you can, to put it out there that you are holding an event on this day, or you are writing a book by this day. Look out, because on September 8th, this is going to come out. You put it out there in the world, you bet you're going to be able to want to deliver on it, because it's going to affect your brand, right? It's going to affect you. People aren't going to believe you anymore. So when there's more accountability from the world that they're expecting it, then that makes you get up and go to the mailbox.
This is such a great point, because if I think of a grand idea in my head and no one else knows about it, I can
Exactly.
forget about it without anyone
Exactly.
knowing.
Exactly. You have to put it out there. You have to put it out there, and force yourself to continue to promote it until it just happens. It happens.
Will you comment on the? No, not yet, not yet, not yet. Will you comment on how these two words might be linked?
The two words, sparks and dread,
Yeah.
how they're linked.
Yeah. Just when Tim said this, it occurs to me that might be some sort of link between the two words. Maybe not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a link, because sparks can be scary, right? Spark is like a flare of light that comes out of nowhere. Sometimes you're embarrassed by sparks because it might frighten people, or it might scare you. And that's dreadful in a way. So you have to find a way to control that. If sparks are strategically planned and placed, then they have the possibility to spark others. If you're a lone spark, you may catch things on fire, not in a good way. So, I mean, of course, there's dread involved, because so often we have a spark inside of us, and automatically, if we go with the spark analogy, fire at first glance seems, at least to me, seems scary. I want to put it out. So sometimes what happens when we have an idea inside of us, or a spark inside of us that comes out of the blue, and it's pretty to look at and it's pretty to feel, and it's intense emotion, but we get scared because it's out of our comfort zone. and
Mm,
we start
mm,
judging ourselves, or we think, well, what are other people going to think? I can't share this. So what do? We dampen it. We put it out by our
mm,
doubts.
mm,
So I think that's
mm,
definitely dread plays into
mm.
the spark.
Oh, I'm Tim. Thanks for that, and I'm glad I asked because your answer was really awesome. Um, the world needs kindness more. That's so true, so beautiful, so true. The, speaking of someone spreading kindness to me and so many other people, Dale, who I know you live in Texas. Do you live in Houston too, Dale? Dale,
Hi, Daryl.
I should know this, my friend. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You two might live in the same place.
Cool. Cool. I'll have to reach out.
Tim says, speaking of Spock, how we Spock each other. Tim says, my event would not be happening without Andrea Sanchez's support. So much gratitude for her in the Drake house. Oh, in the gold!
Yes. Yes. Likewise, Tim. Likewise.
So will you? Okay. So Dale says I live just south of Houston.
Oh, very cool. We're actually going to have a Houston event in October, so hopefully we can meet there, and I'll connect with you ahead of time. That sounds cool.
So speaking of your, so we've been talking about this event for the last 20 minutes, but it makes me think you might. Will you please describe your? Actually, describe what your event
Yeah, it
is.
could be like, for all we know, it could be a hot dog eating contest,
Oh,
right?
it's a Tupperware party and a hot dog eating contest combined.
That's right. That's right. Everyone walks away with a goat. Yeah, that's a good idea, Jason. Let's see. The event is called Worthy. It's in person rally for hope and kindness. For the past 2 years, since 2020, I've been holding online rallies the last Saturday of every month. For hope and kindness, where we have about 5 to 6 speakers come on,
Mm,
regular humans like you and I, just hoping to share some stories that either in their life that they went through certain challenges, such as bullying, getting over some sort of addiction, some sort of abuse, some discrimination, whatever it may be. There's always challenges, and then share them, and how not only did the challenges not define them, they didn't let them define them, but empowered others to own who they are, because we go through things, believe it or not, for a reason. They're meant to teach us
mm,
specific lessons, but also to make us more powerful and more strong inside, so we can reciprocate and give that gift to others, so they don't feel so alone in this world. So that's what those rallies are about. It was supposed to be a one-time thing, and now I'm holding, I think it's number 26. I forget what number we're at, but this month we're holding another rally online, but there was a lot of talk to do an in-person one. So we're doing an in-person one on October the 15th at Rice University in Houston. I'm about to launch the official registration later this evening on my LinkedIn. But it's going to be pretty much an all-day event, and it's going to, 3/4 of it is going to be focused on building courage through various speakers, and just letting people feel empowered to be able to finally be able to share their stories. At the end of the event, there's going to be an open mic for those comfortable sharing their stories. And also,
mm.
most of all, it's a huge, huge safe space and community to just support each other, because we've all been through something, and you probably will meet someone else that's been through your exact same scenario that needs to hear your voice.
I know I was one of the lucky speakers who got to speak on one of your worthy rallies, and
Yes, you were.
it just felt so good to be able to to share my story, but then to be in a community of stories, so it wasn't me sharing my story alone, but a
Right.
community of stories, and so we realize that we're not alone when we share stories, and start to get so much freedom from
Yes.
when we know that we're not in this all alone.
That's right. That's right. The freedom piece is huge. I'm glad you brought that up. Lots of people have also told me it was so freeing to be able to
Mm,
share my story. Some of these people, even for the first time, and it just gave them this new sense of who they are, and that they could actually breathe and move on to other parts of their life. You're absolutely right. And you sharing the story on the platform was amazing, Jason. So thanks again for being
mm.
a part of that.
Oh, it was a fun morning. Thank you so much. And Dale, like, he's incredible, and he knows a lot of people, and he says he would love to come,
Oh, wow.
and he
Awesome.
lives south of Houston, so that sounds
Cool.
good.
Yeah, I'll reach out to you, Daryl. Thanks so much for your support.
And speaking of amazing
Daniel!
people,
One of our past awesome speakers from the rally. Hey,
mm,
Daniel.
mm, so, so I wasn't planning to ask you this, but since you and Tim are both on, would would you tell a little bit about? I mean, whatever you can about Tim's upcoming event, and what makes that incredible.
I would be happy to. Uh, Tim is probably rolling his eyes. So yes, so Tim's upcoming event is showing up for cancer, and it's on September the 10th. It's all on perspectives on cancer. If you don't follow Tim, please follow him because he does have shows, which he does here on LinkedIn every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central. What he's doing is taking that show in person on September the 10th, and you can go to his LinkedIn because he also did a fabulous walking video where he announced his registration is now open. So that just
Oh,
opened
dude, I didn't
yesterday.
see that.
Yeah, everyone check it out. That just opened yesterday, and it's a really, really good deal. And my gosh, he's already talking to the Leukemia Society and teaming up with them, and he's has some amazing speakers lined up. So it's going to be an incredible event for the community.
So both you and Tim are showing up, and
Yes, yes.
so this is how things really great get created. You and Tim are inspiring each other, and then you put on events, and the speakers are inspired, and your attendees are inspired, and the energy just keeps rippling out. That's amazing.
That's the best part, I think. I think, if anything, that specific thing that you just described is what makes putting this together worth it. It's a journey that will continue on.
Dale wants you to talk briefly about the New York picture behind you.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I love New York. New York is one of the cities that gives me so much energy and inspiration. When I feel like down and I need to get away, I wish I could always go to New York, but every once in a while I save up and go there just to escape. I love the city. So it's just a reminder when I need some inspiration, I have that backdrop.
Mm. Tim has an Eventbrite link.
Nice. That you need to put both, Tim, yours as well. I hope that's yours.
Yeah, could you put both in, Tim, and label them? Please, paging Tim,
Thank you, Tim.
making you do work.
And yeah, and put September 10th is Tim's Perspective on Cancer in-person event with Eventbrite. He will put that soon. And then I can always come back and put mine. But yes, his is coming up first. So it's only about 8 weeks away. And he's already on it. It's really great.
So we all go through different challenges, and how did your journey through growing up influence what you're doing now?
It influenced it a lot. Of course, as I was going through my challenges growing up, I didn't realize it would be a gift for me, right? We never realize when we're put in the situations that are bringing us down that it will actually benefit us. But I grew up in an environment that was very critical, also an environment that was emotionally painful, a lot of bullying, a lot of criticism, a lot of control, and my self-defense or that I immediately went to is just to withdraw and make sure that as long as everyone was happy with me, then it was okay. I got this intense fear of judgment. So I decided if I could make myself invisible and just continue to make sure everyone was happy and only came up to the surface when they needed me, then that's the way to survive. Because the last thing I wanted to do is make people unhappy and get criticized and put down. So that's how I lived a lot of my early years until I started waking up and figuring out who I was. And even though when I started to get glimpses of who I wanted to become, I would get criticized. So that slowly made me go back to my shell. It wasn't until a couple of years ago where I guess I had an epiphany. I had to live overseas, halfway across the world in Azerbaijan and Baku, which is all the way by Iran. And I pretty much, even if I didn't want to, I disconnected from the rest of what I knew was my world because of the time difference and just because of just plainly starting over a life over there. And that gave me a lot of time to think. And I started going more into social media and Twitter, and I discovered Twitter chats, and Twitter chats gave me a lot of connections to all these people that spoke about professional development and owning your path and believing in yourself and in your journey. And so that made me think. I'm like, okay, well, if these people could do it and some people would share stories there of where they came from, that made me wonder, there's something else that I meant to do. If these people could do it, I feel like there's something else. And so that's where the spark started to get, I guess, born. And I just didn't know how to express it. And so I started dabbling in a few things, like my own Twitter chat, Dare to Be, that I've been doing for 8 years now.
And then congratulations.
Thanks. And then I started to make time to, even though I was always in the shell, to explore more on LinkedIn. And I found awesome groups like Humans First, and that just opened up all sorts of connections and wonderful people to me. What I was missing was love and people that believed in me. When I surrounded myself with a new environment, that's when I started to really find out, giving myself a chance to be who I was. So and when I saw like the little efforts that I started doing, that it would make an impact on people or make them smile or make their world a little bit better, I started feeling, okay, people don't have to go through the dread or the feeling so alone. like I did growing up, whether it's when through your childhood or now in adulthood. It's important to just let people know that there's someone out there that truly understands what you're going through and offer them a safe space to express themselves. So because of all my challenges and what I've been through, I know what it feels like to be hurt. I know what it feels like to feel all alone and to feel hopeless. So I'm trying to turn all that around and be an advocate that we can create a safe space together to be heard. And I believe every voice is important.
Wow, wow. So much that I want to highlight one thing first of all, though. So so you went across the world to Africa, but I don't
Uh,
even know how to.
Azerbaijan, Azerbaijan, yes,
Sometimes our journeys take us
yeah.
like unique places. Who would have thought you would began to be connected in a new way to humanity by
I never know. I,
going way
yeah.
over there?
No, I would have never imagined that at all. That's why ever since then, I've always been very much a perfectionist because that's what was expected from me. But ever since then, I started to let go more and trusting the journey. And when you trust the journey, things happen, things that you could have never ever planned. So it's that's what I started doing, and you just never know what life will bring you at what time.
Speaking of trusting the journey and letting go, at a certain point, you left a comfortable job to
Yeah,
start Spark Story.
I did.
How did you find the courage to do that?
That was hard. That was again another mailbox moment in the making of many, many years. I love that job. It was for nonprofit, which I love working in the nonprofit world, and it was great. I loved the people. I loved the work. It was communications. I got to do change management. I love all that stuff. But again, there was something inside of me that I yet had not realized what that was. But it was a feeling that told me, Andrea, you've been here for 10 years. It's time for you to take the next step to move on. I didn't know what that was. And that was bugging me for about a year and a half, that feeling that kept surfacing. And I kept ignoring it and it kept surfacing.
When
Um,
you say that feeling was a spark,
yeah, probably because it kept getting louder and bigger. What ultimately made me do it was when was it? 2017 is when I left. So that spring was unfortunately there was like three close people that I knew that passed away, some
mm,
very suddenly,
mm,
and it made me realize that once again we have to be reminded over and over again, even though we know this, that life is short. You cannot, absolutely not live life with regrets. So
mm,
if I've been having this feeling for years, especially a burning feeling that keeps growing for the past year and a half, I need to do this. I need to do this. I do not want to you know uh, end life by not trying to do what I inside of me thinks I need to do or knows I
mm.
need to do. So I just decided to walk away, starting with my own business. I did start my own business, but then soon realized that I missed working with teams and with
Mm.
people, because that actually was what feeds the spark, is to be able to work with others and hear their side of things. So that's why now Spark Story is more for my passion projects, which I do on the weekends, such as this rally and Dare to Be. And now I went back to a team environment for my full-time job, which is this new energy company, clean energy company, that I satisfies my need to not only work for a good cause, but also to work with teams and get that part of my cognitive satisfaction delivered.
So sometimes we kudos to you for trying for following following the spark and and having the courage to quit the position you liked and start your own company. And even though it was, even though you realized that you wanted to work with teams and stuff, kudos to you for doing it and getting that experience. So you you could come back and do what you're doing now with a new perspective. And also you're obviously using Spark Story to do more and more passion projects like an in-person event.
Yeah, thanks, Jason. I really appreciate your words. I wanted to ask you, what's your spark?
Hmm. Where's my Spark?
What ignites you every day to do what you do?
I so that's a great question. I know I've been in very miserable places in my life and created them for myself and hated the voice, and I hated the coordination and hated the limitations, and and then now I'm totally not in that place, and so I I I realized that there's so much opportunity for people to expand and grow out of their suffering and to know more happiness.
Yes,
So, so I that's my spark.
I love it. And you're doing a good job with it.
Thank you, thank you. Um, we're both trusting in the journey.
Yes,
And now, Tim, and now after today, we are both trusting in the gold, because now I
trust in
know
the
about
code.
the gold and
Yes.
know to trust the gold, which is
So, Tim, is he officially part of the clan then? Is that what you're saying? Or were you already part of the clan, Jason?
I
Do you have a goat?
in, no,
We
so
have to get you a
I
goat.
haven't been part of the clan.
We have to get you a goat.
I mean, I live all the way in South Dakota, so it might be a little far to send a goat.
No, it's never far.
Mhm.
Goats can travel pretty well. Pretty small goat.
Oh, that's really good. A goat would be awesome. Um, Dale says Jason Spark is hot yoga.
Hot
That's awesome.
yoga? Okay.
Well, used to do a lot of yoga. So, 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 oh, yeah, for a second, like, we don't have much more to talk about. Then I suddenly remember we have so much more to talk about. So can you talk a little about weaving being a parent in with like like the rest of your life, like like weaving it all together.
Weaving my life together.
No, weaving being a parent, being a mom, and with the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. A lot of juggling. Yeah. But at the end of the day, being a mom comes first. Absolutely. I mean, I love my job. I love my passion projects, but if anything happens or my kids need me or it's something special going on, milestones, that my kids come first. So it is very hard to juggle, but my kids also know that mom does Dare to Be every Tuesday night. And so it's become part of the routine too. So we eat dinner before that. Um, and also I try to involve them. Like my oldest, she's 19. She actually helps me edit my Worthy Rally videos after we do
Oh
them
wow,
every,
I
yeah,
didn't know that. That's
yeah,
cool.
after every last Saturday of the month. And so I started a YouTube and they're all there. I'm just very bad at promoting myself. What I do for a living is promote others, but I'm very bad at promoting myself. So, but yeah, if you search Worthy Rally for Hope and Kindness, there is a YouTube page dedicated to all the rallies since June 2020. So yeah, I try to keep my kids involved in what I do and let them know, what's coming up. And also with this physical event coming up, they've seen me struggle, and I think it's also a good thing to set a good example to them that
Mm,
if you really want something, you work hard towards it. Not necessarily going
mm,
to be easy. There's ups
mm.
and downs, but you work hard towards it, and so they're seeing that. So I think I like involving them in the process.
So that seeing you go towards your dreams rather
Hmm.
than just dismiss them as too difficult,
Right.
which
Right.
is a big deal.
And believe me, I have my days. I'm a big advocate for also just keeping it real as well. I know Tim radiating real is something Tim always says, and Nancy Sanquist actually.
Mm,
And I'm not the type of person like if I hold an event or I write a book or I do a session or even when I host Dare to Be, I like to keep it real that I'm not perfect. So many people out there, when they're the owners of certain things, they make it seem like they're the teachers and all the other ones are there to learn. But I am always positioning myself as a learner. I don't have all the answers, and I like to show the vulnerable side of things so people don't feel like you have it all together to make your dreams come true. It's
mm.
yeah, I truly believe if something is nagging at you in your heart and the spark gets bigger and bigger and bigger, just start somewhere. Even if you don't know where it's going to end up, just start somewhere.
Just start somewhere. Speaking of learning, Dale's an avid reader, and he loves talking about books. What kind of books do you like?
Oh, anything with personal development, actually. Anything that pumps people up, like like the Seth Godin, um, like the I like Gary Vaynerchuk as well. I like Brene Brown,
Hmm.
all those Simon Sinek. I really like Simon Sinek. So all those types of books I'm reading.
Tim has your back. That's
Oh
your
wow, Tim, thank
YouTube
you so
channel.
much. Thank you so
Um,
much. Oh, the
so
YouTube channel. Oh my gosh, I thought it was the registration. Thank you, Tim. Thanks.
we always we he put the registration up a while
Oh my
ago.
gosh. Oh my gosh. Thanks.
So
Awesome.
I know I've struggled with perfectionism. For I used to struggle with it extensively, and I know lots of people do. What thoughts would you have for someone who knows they're being too hard on themselves, but can't seem to stop the cycle?
I wish I had the magic answer because I go back and
Me too.
regress. I mean, but what I can say is once you start trusting the journey and start, baby steps, letting go of certain things, you realize how much you've been missing out on. And it's actually, I mean, for the first time in the past, I want to say the past 2 years, when I'm walking, I'm not, I'm noticing certain birds and their colors on the tree. I'm noticing if there's leaves on a tree or not, and the different colors of the season, and whether the how the wind feels. And um, I've never noticed that before, and it's so sad because there's so much beauty around us. And that example is just nature. Imagine everything else that we're not acknowledging or noticing because we're so wrapped up in our mind of what needs to be done, or judgment, or just, I mean, it's amazing. So it's opened up to me that I don't want to miss out on the beauty of life all around me. So as much, and I have a long ways to go, but as much as I can be present, as much as possible, that's what I'm going to focus on. Especially, when I'm in the office, I'm in the office and I focus on my work. When I'm doing my rallies, I do that. But when I go outside and I'm going for a walk, the office should stay inside. The work should stay inside, and let's look at the beauty all around us as we take that walk. Maybe to a mailbox, but yeah.
Um, did, did you employ any specific? How did you practice noticing more in your walks, or did it just kind of happen?
Oh, I have to make it intentional. It's just like creating a new habit. So I tell myself before I leave, I'm like, I'm going to notice at least four things in my walk
Hmm.
today, or I need to look for something that is, find something in the sky, or notice this one tree that's by the house that has a red door. I have to notice something there. So it like keeps me in the moment, and I try to find little milestones along the way of my walk that makes me have to continue to pay attention. I'm not going to say it always works, but it especially when you see nature, and you notice like a bird flies from one tree, and where does it fly next? To the tree. And why did it fly there? Oh, because there's another bird, and maybe there's a nest. And it's like it makes you also more curious, which is always fun.
So you almost create noticing games for yourself as you walk.
Yeah, and also it's a way for me, in the way that I say it too. It's an extension of what I'm trying to do. I want to spread kindness, right? So why does it have to be limited to people? I want to spread kindness to nature and give gratitude that it's there. Like,
Mm,
people may think I'm crazy, but I
mm,
actually, thank the trees for producing what they produce. Say hello to
mm,
animals.
mm,
I may not verbalize say hello, but I
mm,
communicate. I say hello, to just everything around me, and thank you for being here today, or this is really great. The sun that's out today is wonderful. I appreciate this so much. So
mm.
I mean, I feel like everything has life, and deserves to be noticed, and why not acknowledge and appreciate that as well, instead of take it for granted.
That's beautiful, and you've just given me the idea of expressing more appreciation on my walks, and I love walking. So thank you for that.
And I
Um,
need to say, I'm so glad, Jason. And I need to say one thing is that we have a pond in the neighborhood, and there are some ducks. And yes, I have talked to them out loud a couple of times.
mm,
So I'm guilty of that as well, especially if they have
mm.
ducklings.
Especially what?
If they have ducklings, the baby
Mm,
ducks.
mm. Ducks and ducklings on a pond. So there's something so majestic and
Yeah.
beautiful about that. So, Andrea, I talk in my work about the power of doing a imperfect best, and what it means to me is that we get a vision of the best we want to create for our lives and for other people's lives. and and then we follow that vision. But when imperfections come up and and mistakes and stuff, instead of using them as reasons to stop, we use them to learn from and to inspire us to move forward. So, what does doing your imperfect best mean to you?
Oh, wow. That's a good one. What does being my imperfect best mean to me? Being my imperfect best, I think, is the best gift I can give any other person out there, because my imperfect best is being truly me, and not putting on the hat of the different roles that I need to play throughout the day, but taking the hat away and just being authentically Andrea, which is completely imperfect, but obviously we're all perfectly imperfect because we're born the way we are for a reason. When you find that crowd that you can be your imperfect best with, it truly
Mm,
is a gem of a crowd. And that's
mm,
what I was mentioning before is, those groups that I started associating myself with, like Humans First. That environment allowed me to get to know my imperfect best, because I had no idea. I was a combination of what others wanted me to be my whole
uh,
life.
uh,
And when I realized who I was, yeah, it was shocking, because I was living, first of all, half my life not as me, but second of all, I wasn't perfect. And that was embarrassing and that was scary. But now I realize that that's actually my superpower. And when I find moments of being able to share my imperfect best, like that mailbox video, I am pleasantly surprised that people actually like those moments the most out of all the content that I produce. So, if anything, a lesson is be your imperfect best, because people can relate to that. That makes them feel not so alone, that you're actually speaking human to human, heart to heart, than actually just words that you're saying or words that you're sharing on a paper.
please, please, please say more how being our imperfect best is using our superpower. I've never associated imperfect best with superpower, but it's great. Please say a little more about it because it's so cool.
Being our imperfect best is our superpower.
Yeah, yeah, you said that, but how is it?
How?
Yeah.
Or why? Because who else has that power? Just you.
Mm,
No one else can get
mm,
that. As much as they try to copy you, they will never be you.
mm,
And that is sacred. That
mm,
is, and what's sacred? A superpower.
mm,
I mean, you have the power of being uniquely Jason. There's certain things that Jason is going to say in this world that no one else is going to say, because they're not
mm,
Jason. There's certain
mm,
concepts and ideas that Jason is going to be inspired to do, and no one else is going to be inspired to do, because they're
mm,
not Jason. Now, that's not to say people won't have similar ideas, because oftentimes, and I've been caught in this situation or scenario where, oh yeah, I have this brilliant idea, and then I go on LinkedIn or I hear that someone else already did it, and I'm like, oh well, I thought that was original, never mind. But it may be done, maybe someone else is doing what you thought we're doing, but they're never going to be doing it the Jason way or the
mm,
Andrea way or the Tim way. So you still should go for it, because your superpower is being you, and your superpower is putting your angle to everything that you do. That in
mm,
itself is something that no one else has, that can't be taken away from you.
mm, mm. And no for Andrea to come back to this part of the interview and copy down what she said about superpower because the way you said that was so amazing. So amazing. Oh,
Thanks, Jason.
beautiful. And we're wrapping up here. Danielle has Dangerfield says Andrea Sanchez, for me it's bird calls and recognizing birds. I was never interested in hearing those
Oh,
sounds, but I pay much more attention now. Our children
wow.
now can recognize their calls. That's beautiful.
That's awesome. I love it. Thanks for sharing, Daniel.
Oh, says Jason is so awesome.
He is. Yep. Very
Thanks,
awesome.
Dale.
He's a
Um,
superhero.
Tim says paging spam.
What?
Some of these compliments are weightier than others, but nothing against paging spam. Um, and oh hey, shout
Hey,
out
Jenny.
to God. Oh, and Tim gets a second to last, right? Yeah, superpower is being you. Oh,
Thanks,
oh,
Tim.
so good. Lastly, how can what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
LinkedIn for sure. LinkedIn. Get a hold of me on LinkedIn. I try to be there every
What do
day.
they type in?
Sorry?
Do they just type in your name? There's probably lots of.
Yeah, there's a lot of them. That doesn't help. I'll go back when this is over and put it in the comments
Oh,
of your show.
oh,
But yeah.
I'm on it. I
Oh,
think maybe not. Come
then I'll
on,
do it.
come on. Okay, maybe no. That's no, no, dude. Uh, this was an unscripted portion of the show. Andrea, there you go. Okay, okay. So I think I might have it. Speaking of imperfect best, yeah. Think that's
Thanks.
you.
Thanks, Jason.
So it's been such a pleasure to talk with you.
Yeah.
Congratulations on walking to the mailbox and yeah, in-person events coming up.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm so excited. And thank you so much, Jason. I love what you're doing here. You're such an inspiration as well. And don't forget about your superpower because you are a superhero.
Thank you, thank you. Have a great day, my friend.
You too. Bye.
Yeah, and you are definitely a superhero too. Thanks for being
Thanks so
you.
much. Thank you.
Oh, dude, I just love you. People are amazing. You're amazing. The people around you are amazing. I urge you to to be curious about the people around you who you even the ones you think you know so well. You might know them well, but there's still questions you haven't asked them, stories you haven't heard them talk about, things you inspiring things they know that you haven't asked for. So I encourage you to just have new and more conversations with the people around you, both your close friends and people you're just getting to know. And how's that for a segue? And next week, my guest is Ryan Gardner. Oh my God, going to be another great interview. Saved by a blue ribbon, which means something very significant, but you'll have to wait till next week to find out what. Um, thanks for your time today. Thanks for being you. Thanks for Yeah. Thanks for being here and your contribution to the world. All right. Wow.
We still live.
No. Oh, okay. Bye, y'all. Bye.